Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Scott Luton and Kevin L. Jackson with you here on Supply Chain Now. Welcome to today's live stream. Hey, Kevin L. Jackson, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm wherever you may be.
And today, I'm not going to give up the exact location, right? But today, I think you're visiting the beautiful Pacific Northwest here in the U.S. Is that right?
Yes, I am, and in the middle of, well, I guess it's summer, but here in the Northwest, it's always sweater weather, right?
Well, hey, have a great trip. I look forward to your key takeaways and congrats on some special family news, which we'll probably mention as we get deeper into today's edition of The Buzz. And that's right, folks. As Trisha says, happy Buzz Day. Say hello and let us know where you're tuned in from, because every Monday, folks, every Monday at 12 noon Eastern time, we discuss a variety of news and developments across global supply chain and business. As we like to call it, news that matters. And Kevin, we've got a terrific show today. We're going to be diving into how the transportation sector is facing a wide variety of cyber risk. On a related note, we'll offer up how supply chain leaders can better unleash AI's ever-evolving potential. We've got a truckload of key takeaways from some of the global supply chain industry's biggest events. And Kevin, in just a few minutes, one of our all-time faves will be joining us as Kim Winter, Managing Director of Logistics Executive Group, will be joining us. And Kevin, they're celebrating their 25th anniversary this year. How cool is that, huh?
I'm surprised. Kim is always on a flight, right? He's probably flying over, Dubai or London, Berlin. I mean, he's everywhere all the time, going down under.
Well, we may be joined by his digital twin today. We'll see. We'll see. But should be a great show. Hey, folks, two things before we get started here. First off, give us your take in the comments, right? Let us know what you think about these topics we're going to be talking about, whether you're tuned in via LinkedIn, YouTube, X, Facebook, Twitch, no matter. Let us know what you think. And secondly, folks, if you enjoy the show today, we'd love for you to share it with your friends and your network. They'll be glad you did. Okay, Kevin, we've got some homework to do before Kim joins us here in about 5 or 6 minutes. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, but one quick thing I want to say, belated Happy Father's Day. Yesterday, I tell you, it was great. I had an opportunity to spend Father's Day with my kids and my grandkids. That was awesome. But, what better gift can a father have?
Oh, I'm with you. Hey, can I share that picture, or was that just for
internal? No, absolutely. You can share that picture. I got approval from the wifey.
Look at this wonderful, happy, gleaming with joy family. Kevin, you are a very fortunate individual, my friend.
Yeah, I just got to say, congratulations to Corbin Jackson, my grandson, who graduated from Federal Way High School up in near Seattle. He's going to got a full ride scholarship to be a mechanical engineer. So wow. I'm really, God, what can you say, right? Going to St. Martin's University, wow. It makes you proud.
Yeah, I bet. So congrats to you, Corbin, on behalf of all of your big fans and dear friends here at Supply Chain Now. The places you'll go, as they say. Love that, Kevin.
Yep.
All right. So let's hit a couple news items before the one and only Kim Winter joins us. And I want to start, Kevin, you know where we all like to start. We dropped our latest edition of With That Said over the weekend. Who are these three folks here? Check this out. So this edition dove into our visit to the Port of Rotterdam, a critical cog in global supply chain and the largest seaport in Europe. You'll see me to the left. You'll see my dear friend Bill Huber, former CFO and global supply chain circles there, helped facilitate the visit, and Mark Gillum, Kevin, who you know from our friends over at Enable. So here's a did you know though. Okay. Already the Port of Rotterdam is the 11th largest port in the entire world, and it's executing on a growth strategy that will have it almost double its container capacity by 2035. So big thanks. It was a fascinating visit. Big thanks to Kenzo Van Morris and, of course, Bill Huber for helping to host and facilitate what was a captivating visit. So one other note, though, from With That Said, we got a busy week of live programming this week. We have a live show every single day, And on Thursday, Kevin, at a special time, 9:15 a.m. Eastern time, we're going to be featuring the Chief Supply Chain Officer over at Staples, right?
Wow,
The
busy
office
week.
supply.
Busy week.
It is a busy week, I tell you. And you can find information and links to all those shows right there every single week on With That Said. And Trisha is already Johnny on the spot. It's got the link right there in the comments. So, Kevin, did you get a chance?
Quick question on that Staples thing. Are they bringing the easy button? Because I tell you, I need that.
They are bringing the easy button. They're bringing its neighbor, the innovation button. They're bringing the growth button. Kevin, they're doing some really cool things.
Bringing all them buttons. Okay, all right.
Got the whole typewriter. But Kevin, did you get a chance to get past? And by the way, that is the Ever Arm over for folks that are viewing the live stream. That evergreen vessel just over my right shoulder there is the Ever Arm, and that is one of the largest container ships in the entire world. I think just shy of 24,000 TEUs is its capacity. But Kevin, did you get a chance to look at With That Said, my friend?
Yes, I did. I guess that was the MSC Arena, the largest vessel to call on that port, 24,000 TEU. Woo.
Well, that vessel was its cousin. So the Evergreen, the Evergreen was there while we were there. But to your point, the biggest vessel to ever call on the port of Rotterdam is that MSC or Irvina, or what was it, Kevin?
Yeah, Irvina. Yeah.
Is that it? Okay, I knew I was close. Okay. So Kevin, it sounds like maybe you'll join us on Thursday for our chat with Staples. We'll have an easy button for everybody, and it will have a great week of programming. Not the rowdy ones, though, right, Kevin? As what was the artist that would sing "All My Rowdy Friends Have Settled Down"? What is that country and Western artist? Trisha and Amanda, come to the rescue here. It is Hank Williams Jr. How did I not get that, Kevin?
Okay. We talked about that, didn't we?
All right, I'm gonna double up on my ginkgo biloba for my memory. One more thing before we welcome on Kim Winter, and I want to invite folks. You know we're all about sharing resources, and there's a great one available now for free. It's a Q1 2025 U.S. Bank Freight Payment Index, and it's chock full. I'm telling you. Filled to the rim with brim. Remember that commercial back?
Yeah.
Shipping data, economic insights, and a whole bunch more action information. You can download your copy for free via the link that we're dropping there in the chat, or you can go over to freight.usbank.com.
Some good information in that thing.
Oh, undoubtedly, especially for folks trying to understand how we got here in the U.S. domestic freight market. All right, so Kevin, I have one more question to pose to you right before Kim Winter joins us here in a second. And you, of course, are our resident technology guru, Kevin L. Jackson. So
I try to keep up. It's hard.
It is hard in this fast-moving world. But what is I love learning about new outcomes-focused use cases for artificial intelligence. What's been one of the latest use case to hit your radar?
So I don't know if it's good or bad, but you ever hear the artificial nose? They call it olfactory sensors. So they're using AI to create new perfumes. So they have a sensor, and it's supposed to be able to smell things, and it goes and looks at all of the preferences from all of your customers, and it mixes and matches, and it comes up with brand new perfumes.
Okay.
It makes you wonder what does AI want you to smell like?
The next show coming to Supply Chain Now. That is amazing, Kevin. It really is amazing. And you know what? Maybe on a somewhat related note, it reminds me that maybe smell-o-vision, which I always wish I had when cooking shows were on. I wonder if that's just around the corner, Kevin.
Yep, absolutely. everything you've seen on television, you thought was science fiction, it's all turning into reality.
It sure is at a crazy pace. But that's really cool. I'm gonna check that out later. AI helping us to fine tune our perfume innovation and buying selections, perhaps. But Kevin, are you ready to bring in one of our all-time faves, big guest, big friend of the show? You ready to go?
Yes, I'm ready to go. Got to keep up with you there, Scott.
Hey, that's the easy thing to do. The vice versa is a little bit tougher. But hey, please join me, folks, in welcoming one of our dear friends, great big friend of the show, a guest that's always on the move, as Kevin mentioned. Let's welcome in Kim Winter, Managing Director for Logistics Executive Group, which again is celebrating their 25th anniversary here in 2025. Hey, Kim Winter, how you doing today?
Yeah.
Hey, gentlemen. How you doing, Mr. Jackson? Good to see you, sir.
Hey, great to see you, man.
We have had just in the first 13 minutes of this very live edition of The Buzz. Let's see here. We've talked about AI helping us with perfumes. We've talked about
I got it. I've been listening. You guys, you're shooting it. Yeah.
Big ships. Are you ready to step into this hurricane, Kim Winter? Are you ready?
I got so many segues for you. We'll never get through the show. I'll tell you. I've been standing exactly where you were with one of those evergreen ships behind you in Rotterdam.
Oh, wow.
And last week I was with the folks in Rotterdam and Munich. So there you go.
Hey, it's a small world, and blessed be the ties that bind for sure. Let's do this, Kim and Kevin. We're going to do a little fun warm-up question, and I want to first, on a serious note, congrats to Kim and the whole team. 25 years in business is a feat and is something to be celebrated. But I'm going to use that.
He's only 30.
in the shade.
How do you do that?
In the shade.
So the organization was founded in 2000. Now that feels like 100 years ago. But 25 long years ago. I'm going to ask you both. And Kevin, I'm going to start with you. And Kim, you're going to be a cleanup hitter. What is one cool thing you were doing back in 2000, Kevin?
Oh, wow. Back in 2000. So actually, I was with JP Morgan Chase. And if you remember way back then, everyone was so weird out about Y2K.
Yes.
What was going to happen? Is the world going to go away? And I was head of the IT project office for the commercial bank, and we had remediated all of our applications around the world, but they were still worried. So on New Year's Eve, they said you need to be within walking distance of headquarters. I worked down on Manhattan on 270 Park Avenue. And so they put me up in the Intercontinental Hotel on Times Square for Y2K.
And for folks that weren't living and navigating through that time, Kevin, not a whole bunch happened. It was much ado about very little.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. But I got my time and enjoyed, ringing in the new year for 2000.
Love it. Well, all right. So Kim, I'm going to ask you the same question, but before you respond, you've already got a big Nadeem who's back with us. He says he loves this guy. He met you, I guess, in the UAE earlier. That's terrific.
Yes, hi Nadine, what's up?
And Amanda says she graduated high school in 2000. Oh, thanks, Amanda. Man, making me feel really old. Okay.
Just a baby.
So Kim, other than founding consequential and incredible organizations, what's one cool thing you were doing in 2000?
Well, I'll give you a couple within 10 seconds each, which will be short for me. So Sydney Olympics, brother. Olympics.
Yeah.
And I had a seat to the opening, so that was about 10 Ks where I was living.
Wow.
So we were doing that. 2IK was scaring the hell out of everybody. That's right. And was right there with you with that one. And I just finished up with an American company called Tele Group.
Okay.
Which was a company that was introducing a thing called digital packets over the internet. Digital packets over the internet, whatever that might have turned out to be, right? And so that was early telephony. early telephony. They were based in Ohio. I was a minor shareholder, and I just finished up 5 years. When I started, I knew nothing about telephony. By the time I got out of it, I knew way too much and got out.
Wow. That reminds me, when I was working at JP Chase, we had a special offering for our, quote, high net worth clients, and it was home banking. And then
whatever that is, right?
Had to pay $10,000 so that they can run a line to their home and set up a special computer so they can do banking at home. It's like, wow, how things have changed.
And now it's all been.
We introduced VoIP, voice over internet.
VoIP, yeah.
Wow, that's a blast from the past for sure. And of course now all of that has been democratized. Going back to your comment about home banking, Kevin, we all bank from home these days. And VoIP, I'd love to get an update on where VoIP is. VoIP, I'm assuming, is everywhere, and it's probably known by a different name.
It's right now. How do you think we're talking together right now?
That's us.
Well, is there something else
right now? This is VoIP.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Technology we're using on StreamYard. Yeah.
What's old is new again. Okay. Well, Kim and Kevin, we got a ton to get into here today. And in just a second, we're going to cherry pick some of the biggest events across industry that Kim's been to, because his schedule, as Kevin has mentioned, is like none other. But Kim, on a more serious note, just a little background. We've got a ton of violence going on in the Middle East right now, as we all know, and we're praying for cooler heads to prevail, and hopefully at least a pause to the violence, and not just there, but other parts of the world too. Yeah. But Kim, for what has been taking place over the last few days, share a couple comments on the impact of global supply chains there in the Middle East.
Sure. So I was talking about this with one of my business partners this morning. I've only just landed a few hours ago, but we had a chat about it. But look, air cargo, air freight, rerouting, freight rates going back up because of the uncertainty, the disruption that we see happening in and around the Gulf at the moment. So my flight was moved and delayed by about an hour and a half, and had to take a circuitous route to get back to Dubai, where I am today. But coming in from Munich, where I took off from yesterday, a bit of a rounding circuit. In terms of disruption to the supply chain, we already know about Red Sea is still disrupted. So majority of ships are still going down around Cape Horn. So this is going to affect inventory levels just at the wrong time of year, because we are heading into the building of inventory, companies getting forward orders ready for the Christmas rush everywhere around the world, or whatever it is you celebrate at that time of the year. Yeah. So, we're recommending to a lot of our clients that they get block space booked. And the answer, according to my business partner, was very much book early, get ahead, get your orders in early, give yourself some slippage, because there's going to be some delays. And inshallah, God willing, all of this heat that's going on at the moment will drop, and there'll be a negotiated settlement, and we'll settle down. But in the meantime, supply chains are being ruffled a fair bit. Freight rates have jumped in the last 48 hours.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
See, I thought supply chain was easy.
Oh, Kev. Well, the thing is, supply chain management is easy. It's all the other things, all the other factors outside of our control that makes it so challenging, perhaps.
Yeah.
But kidding aside, Kim, I appreciate that. And again, we can't stress enough, especially in this year of conflict that just continues to be like a proverbial snowball running down the mountain, that we get a pause and we can broker a peace, hopefully a practical peace that can last. Okay, let's do this on a much, much, much lighter note. We have cherry-picked 4 great events that Kim Winter has attended, Kim and the team, and we're going to get some of his key takeaways from all of them. So this is going to be like the Micro Machines commercial back in the day, Kim. We're going to be moving fast here, just like industry. And I want to start with this first event. And we have the smartest audience in all the world. They may be well aware of these events, or maybe we'll help folks find a new one. But this was Transport Logistic, Kim, which took place just a week or two ago. And really quick, before we get your key takeaway, look at these numbers. Over 2,700 exhibitors from 73 nations, and more than 77,000 visitors from over 130 countries at Transport Logistic 2025. Kim, what was a key takeaway or two here?
Well, surprisingly enough, Scott, I wasn't actually going to this one, but the Sunday before, about 3 days before the event, I got a phone call from about 3 different clients in Europe saying, "Oh, we've seen you all around the traps lately. You are coming to this one, aren't you?" So they being clients, I just jumped on a flight and away I went. So I was there the next day, and it was spectacular. Now, I don't know how big Manifest is at Vegas, but this thing was gargantuan. Like I was doing 25,000 steps a day, 4 days in a row. Count that up, Kevin. And it was just manic. It was full on. I mean, I saw at least 100 clients or would-be clients that I was there. And the takeaways were the organization and the logistics of the organizing Muenchen, Messe Muenchen, the organization there for every 2 years they have it, was spectacular. And the entertainment every night, there were DJs from every city around Europe.
I got your dance on.
But the technology and the amount of tech that was there and the automation, the AI, all the stuff you'd expect, world's best. Awesome.
Wow.
Brilliant.
Well, hey,
such friendly people. Friendly people.
All right, we're going to add this. So the next one will take place in 2027. Is that right, Kim?
We're going to be there.
Okay.
Packed.
Okay, Kim, let's mark this down on our calendar. Kevin and I will take the plane over. Maybe we'll bring more team members. Transport Logistic 2027. I bet they'll break some more records in a couple of years. And also, you mentioned Manifest. So love Manifest. But Manifest, I think, had about 5,000 attendees last year. So this event is ProMat had over 50,000 people. This one's over 77,000 attendees. Yeah. So this sounds like one that should be on your radar, Kevin L. Jackson, huh?
Just got to be there.
I'm going to have to add more to my list. Where are you going next week there, Kim?
Well, I'll tell you in a minute, Kevin.
Well, so before we look ahead, I want to keep on this little adventure of looking back at some places you have been. And this next one, we've got 2 events. Let me tee this up for just a second. So there's 2 events here that are kind of co-located. We have got CMAT Southeast Asia, and this is just a couple weeks ago there in May, and it's co-located with Logisym Singapore, or Logisym Asia Pacific, if I've got that right. And Kim and Kevin, I'm going to surprise both of y'all because we tuned in. I reached out to my dear friend Brett Marshall, and I think Brett chairs the Logisym conference, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
And I asked him, give me a key takeaway. Brett said, quote, "The theme for this year's event was digital, sustainable, and secure, empowering supply chain agility and efficiency, challenging the logistics and supply chain community to not just respond, but to lead, to focus on flow of goods, of data, of knowledge, and get this, and of trust. This is how we will build resilient, responsible, and responsive supply chains for the region and globally." Okay, so Kim, with those 2 located events, what were a couple of your key takeaways?
Well, a little fun fact, about 12 years ago, Logistics Executive Group founded with Ramon Christian from Logisym, founded Logisym. And so we were founders and sold out of that about 5 years ago. Get on very well with the Krishnans, and also Brett, lovely man. We've got some extraordinary photos from that event, which we won't put on here. They had a very good awards event during the evening of that event as well. So it's Ramon, and of course Brett is very experienced. And then we've got Mike Nissen from the folks at Deutsche Messe contracted us in to MC at those 2 events. So we had a busy week there in Singapore. Takeaways were Chinese automation and technology again, just by bucket loads. Really interesting. Did some interviews for Logistics Executive TV. So we've posted those on LinkedIn if anybody wants to see them. But yeah, huge again, very friendly atmosphere. The big theme for me this year has just been so much hospitality, so many good people in the logistics and supply chain space. It's just all positive.
Kim, love it. And Kevin, on the notion of Chinese automation, they have become in the recent years the biggest market for automation, right? both
Oh yeah,
companies
absolutely.
selling into, but also domestic China
Well,
automation
the
platform as well.
the innovation that they've been able to implement in automation processes is just amazing. Their capability and their large language models and AI have are now challenging the world's the top LLM models around the world.
Yeah.
So it's this technology is moving really, really fast.
Yeah, you can't blink. You blink and you fall behind. It is amazing, the velocity. We talk about it all the time, but it's so true. It's so palpable, the velocity that not just technology is speeding along at, but global business, just the pace of business these days.
Yeah,
all right.
can I sort of tap on one of my favorite subjects? So
Sure.
okay, food. Hey, did you get some chili crab or
I'll send
pepper
you the
lobster
photo.
when you were in Singapore? I love it. I love it. When you
I'll
get
send you
off
the
the
photo.
plane. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a restaurant as you go into the city on the left side. I stop there every time to get me some, chili
King
pepper.
crab.
Yeah,
All right.
king crab.
Y'all cut that out. You're making me making me starving, folks. We can't talk food around as we're about noon Eastern time on this Monday, June 16th. Wow. Okay, Kim and Kevin. Kim, there's one more event I want to kind of put my finger on the pulse, and that is this one, Auto Mechanica Riyadh. Big, as it says there, Saudi Arabia's leading regional trade show for the automotive aftermarket, and it's in its 7th installment. So, Kim, tell us about this one.
Sure, just a quick one. So again, we were contracted in to MC this one by the folks at Automechanica, and they were organising things here. Frankfurt, Messe Frankfurt are the organisation here. And so we went up there in Riyadh. I hadn't been to Riyadh proper for any amount of time for more than about 10 years. The takeaways, staggering growth in the city of Riyadh. I mean, we've seen all the investment from the PIF and the investment fund, of course, 30-year vision from the leadership in Saudi Arabia. You've heard about NEOM, you've heard about the Red Sea projects, all of this. Well, it's just cooking. Riyadh is just going off. It's fantastic, the amount of development. And then there were about 400 different exhibitors there. The takeaway, 320 of them that I counted were from China. And this is the automotive market, of course, the aftermarket and the parts. Staggeringly interesting for me because I haven't done a lot necessarily in automotive. And the military position with which these folks were carrying out with what they were doing was just unbelievable. Takeaway, the Saudis are saying that within 3 years, the Chinese will dominate the Saudi Arabian market for automotive. And they're doing that here in the UAE as well. And guess what? I just bought a Chinese vehicle myself, and I'm absolutely over the moon.
Really? Which one, Kim? If you want to release it.
Yeah, sure. I bought a Cherry Jetour, Jetour.
Okay.
Jetour 1. The Jetour 2 here. So it's a replicant of the Discovery, the Land Rover Discovery. It's got all the bells and whistles that an X5 BMW's got. It's about a quarter of the price and a 1 million kilometer guarantee on the drivetrain.
Oh, how about that? Okay.
1 million or 10 years. Take a choice.
Wow. That's amazing.
Kevin, that sounds, are you in the market for a G-Tour 1?
I'm going to have to be. I have been driving BMWs for quite a while. So
this thing's a truck. It's a truck. It's awesome. It's a little bit like a Ford Bronco, but bigger and taller, and the visuals on it are incredible. And there's a woman inside that talks to you and does everything for you in the car. My wife's
it comes with a woman inside? I got to get one of them.
So, it's interesting. Speaking of the Chinese automotive sector, it's been interesting to see BYD, which stands for Build Your Dreams, which I think is really cool. See what they're doing out in the market, and not only to land in certain markets, but land and expand. And of course, doing some really cool things from a supply chain perspective as well. But Kim, all right, so I'm going to have to check out the G-Tour 1. We'll do that. We'll see if me and Kevin can't get a test drive. And as Nadeem says, Nadeem, great to have you here. Auto Mechanica Riyadh. All are welcome. Come and please visit us. Nadeem, we're going to do just that. All right. So Kim and Kevin, we just walked through 4 events that should hopefully is on y'all's radar now around the globe. And as you attend these events, make sure you flag down Kim, whether he's keynoting or exhibiting or emceeing. Make sure you connect with him. All right, so we're going to shift gears in just a second. But before we do, we've got an outstanding event coming up, folks. Backed by popular demand, we've got a great event coming up on July 10th. It's a trade policy expert and DC insider, Omar Nashashibi. Folks, if you've got tariff questions, and come on, let's keep it real. We all do, right? Hey, come join us. We're going to pose them to Omar, who's been doing big things when it comes to trade policy for over 25 years. 25 years. Me and Mark Gillum with Enable will be hosting an outstanding live conversation. We're dropping a link so you can register. And Kevin, I'm going to tell you, he was with us. Omar there was with us probably about a month, maybe a month and a half ago. There was not one question he could not answer confidently with expertise in a way that you almost take it to the bank. I love learning from folks like that, Kevin, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And this week is probably especially important to tune in. I mean, with the G7 coming up, the uneasiness in the Middle East, and tariffs, the tariffs quote deals that are supposed to be coming out. I tell you, I would put that one on your calendar. Don't miss it.
Don't miss it, folks. Take it from Kevin. Don't miss it. July 10th, coming up soon. Gosh, it's going to be in July. We're going to be halfway through this, what was once, just like yesterday, a new year. We're almost halfway through June.
Oh, wow. Yeah, don't scare me.
All right. So, Kim, what we're going to do now that we've kind of picked your brain on some of these events, we're going to take in this next segment, we're going to kind of put the other shoe on the other foot, because whenever we got Kevin L. Jackson on an edition of The Buzz, we got to double down on all things tech, and in this case, related tech. So, Kevin, I want to walk through a couple articles, get your take, and then we'll get Kim's commentary as well. I'm going to start with this one here. So, as reported by Security Brief Australia, in a development that's not going to shock anybody, the transportation sector has its hands full with an ever-increasing amount of cyber attacks and an overall tidal wave of cyber risk that comes crashing down wave after wave on global supply chains everywhere. Hey, AI giveth and AI taketh away. So, Kevin, tell us more what you're seeing here.
So this was highlighting this new industry survey, talking about the ongoing challenges with networking and security for companies in transportation and logistics. IT is getting more and more complex. We talk about it all the time. And the adoption of artificial intelligence is critical. So there's mounting pressure on all these companies to manage their hybrid IT infrastructure and the shift towards cloud-based AI-enabled solutions. And these companies are really in a period of rapid digital transformation. You know, that's my favorite word.
It is.
And it spans the warehouses, the vehicle fleets, air and sea transport. Kim was just talking about how this recent world events are affecting air transport and real-time management systems. In fact, 70% of executives listed cost control as the main objective, and 57 were looking for enhanced network performance and visibility, while 51%, over half, were trying to reduce the workload on internal IT teams. So it revealed also that only 28% of the organizations have started implementing solutions to counter generative AI-related network and security threats. And more than half are still trying to evaluate, or they feel that they're unprepared for these type of risks. You know, this is really, really underscoring how rising connectivity, the adoption of cloud, AI, and increasing cyber threats are shaping technological priorities for transportation and logistics.
Yeah.
So, the world is changing fast. You gotta stay, up to date.
Yeah. Kevin, and folks, you can go check out the article. Trisha dropped a link there. It's from our friends at Security Brief Australia. But I got to cherry pick one nugget there, Kim Winter, as I get your comments. Folks, you need to be one of the 28% that are already implementing a platform to counter these Gen AI cyber risks. Don't be one of the, quick math, 72% that have yet to act. That, Kevin, that is a shockingly low number, at least from what they call a data set, the data set behind the survey.
The data. Yeah. Okay. But what's really, it's like they're ostriches putting their head in the ground, right? If you haven't heard or understand the power of AI, you're just putting shackles on your legs and arms.
Wow. All right. So Kim, we got to find a way to break from those digital shackles and protect our organizations, our people, our customers, our suppliers, our operations. Kim, your thoughts when we heard those numbers from Kevin?
Yeah, I guess what really triggers in my mind when I hear about this is that, the type of the utilization of the existential nature of AI right across our industry. So we're consulting, supply chain and logistics consulting here and in our Asia Pac headquarters, and of course in the recruitment as well, which we've been in, as you say, for 25 years. So what we're finding now is that AI is permeating right across, helping people build resumes. AI is helping getting people trained to do interviews. And my concern is that there's so much influence of automated machine learning and thinking coming into it. Are people themselves actually taking things on board, and are you getting authenticity in the discussions and the relationships, whether it's consulting and for contracts and tenders that we're going for, and or in recruitment, are people just sort of coming up with a false narrative almost to gain a role, and then are they going to be able to do the job when they get in the role? So AI is so prevalent that what we're seeing is we're having to interview people a lot more intently now. Before we put them forward to a customer for a senior executive role. We've got about 30 roles going at the moment. I've never had to interview so much in my life, I've got to say.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is that, your job is not going to be taken by AI. It's going to be taken by a human that knows how to use AI. All right. So if you don't know the good and the bad of AI, you're going to be left behind.
Yeah. Well said, Kevin. 2 quick points. And Kim, I love how you wove the talent theme in there. That's such an important one. And we're going to wrap today's show on getting both of y'all to share some observations from the global supply chain talent market. But 2 quick thoughts. Kevin, first off, the data sample, that was where I was looking for, which is a subset, that larger data set, because that 28% number in terms of folks, organizations that haven't yet stood up a platform or an approach to counter the Gen AI. Who knows what that real number is out in the industry? I bet it's higher,
probably
than
higher,
just 28%. But the second point, Kevin, get your thought. Again, our technology Sherpa, with all the older platforms. I mean, you and I were just hosting a live show last week or week before last, where we talked about, in all reality, that fax machines are still being used across supply chains and business everywhere. With the prevalence of still older technology and platforms, those are bigger targets for the bad actors. Is that right?
Yeah, and guess what? When you're integrating the older technologies with the newer technologies, AI is at the top of the list. So, we still use pencils, right? The old technology doesn't go away. It stays there. And there's a lot of data there that needs to be cleaned, right? But that data is going to feed your new large language model that's driving your processes.
Yes.
That's why this is really critical. And once again, I want to, Kim was talking about how China is really going to be seen as the dominant player across many industries. They're dominating because of AI.
Okay. Well, we could do a whole show, a whole series around your last couple comments there, Kevin. But I want to do this.
Yes.
We're going to move along to the second article. But before we do, Nadeem, hey, Nadeem, you and I must be kindred spirits because I'm always fascinated with those aircraft models that Kim always has behind him. I got to get a couple of those. All right. Let's do this. So, folks, we dropped the link to that article thanks to Trisha. Trisha dropped a link right here to the one we just tackled, some of those data nuggets there. And also, she dropped the link to that Terra-focused live session we've got coming up in July. So, y'all check that out. You're one click away. Big thanks to Trisha for
don't miss that
helping us. That's right. All right, let's move along to this second article, and then we're going to talk talent. We're going to explore here the continued evolving potential of AI doing great work in the transportation and logistics space, especially in those pesky and tedious and overwhelming back office operations. So a great read here from our friends at Supply Chain Exchange. Kevin, tell us more.
Well, those people never go away. So we're leveraging technology to make it easy for the people in the back office. And transportation and logistics has a critical role in global commerce, but they have long struggled with inefficiencies, particularly in the back office. Manual invoicing processes remain a major pain point, with discrepancies in freight rates, accessorial charges, and payment terms require labor-intensive reconciliation that delays settlements by weeks. And that's money, right? So by automating these repetitive tasks, such as invoice validation, exception alerts, and document processing, AI has the potential to streamline workflows, reduce errors, and free up the humans to focus on strategic decision making. Let the humans do what humans do best. But in order to realize the full benefit of artificial intelligence, companies need to overcome the challenges around data security, cost, and integrating with legacy systems. We're just talking about that. The survey indicated a growing interest in automation and AI within transportation and logistics, with over 70% of respondents expressed a willingness to invest in AI optimized systems, recognizing the potential for these technologies. 31% of the respondents wanted to improve decision making, 28% wanted to reduce errors, and 37% wanted to enhance data quality. So, they may be, sort of slow, but they're jumping on it now.
That's good. We got to take that 70 number and push it into the 90s for sure. Because there's so many opportunities to transform not just the customer experience, which of course is important by leveraging AI and modern day technology, but the employee experience, right? And folks, I know I'm beating a dead horse when I talk about this, but it's just so important. We've got to free and unleash our beautiful human element from the mundane, the tedious, the blocking and tackling, which is so ripe to be automated.
Yes.
But Kim, what'd you hear there in terms of the opportunities that continue to abound?
Well, I'm just hearing those big words of transportation and AI. And Friday afternoon, last Thursday, I managed to jump on board with a couple of my nephews whom I hadn't seen for years, who hired an A5 Audi, Munich. We're driving down to the Nürburgring, which we drove to my great horror, but because I wasn't driving at 200 kilometers an hour. But we're going down the Autobahn, and we're in this Audi. We're doing 220 kilometers an hour, which is fine on the Autobahn. We get a blowout. So,
wow, that's scary.
Lucky it wasn't a big blowout. So we pull off. But anyway, we're on the side of the Autobahn. It's full on in both traffic. There's a little bit of a curve. And within 3.5 minutes, there's two German police cars pull up out of the middle of nowhere and slow the traffic down and then stop the Autobahn to guide us off the road because the tire was still going. But
yeah.
I said, how did you know? They said, we got AI managing the entire Autobahn between Munich and Frankfurt and all the way down to Vienna and all the way down to Austria. And they said, the minute we get a blip, we then could get a drone up, we can see what's going on because it's in a reasonably desolate area in the forest.
Wow.
And so they said, this is what it's doing for us. It's saving us time and energy everywhere, and it's giving us a lot more safety on the Autobahn.
Yeah.
No limits, as you know.
No limits. Kevin?
No limits. I tell you, it reminds me of a time, I think I was on the same Autobahn. I was going to Hahn, Germany, and I was driving down there at night in a 7 Series BMW, and it was like, I was in heaven. if you never, but to get a blowout, there's no such thing as a small blowout on the Autobahn. So
right.
I'm glad you made it.
Let me up the ante, Kevin, to your last comment and to Kim's story. I was curious if you heard there Kim say 220 kilometers per hour. I did a quick calculation. That's 136 miles an hour. Now, folks, I don't know about all of you out there. I'm sure you're safe drivers, but once you get to about 100 miles an hour, I get real. I mean, that's scary enough for me to go at 220 kilometers, 136 miles an hour. Kim, y'all were getting it, my friend.
We just got aced by Lamborghini doing 350.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Whoa.
Well, I'm glad all of you are okay, because that could have been an awful thing. And hey, how cool is that AI use case where the German police and the safety officials are using it to take care of people, right? And to get to accidents.
Yeah,
that's right. Get accidents quickly. Okay, because that's the most important thing, right? Keeping our friends, family, our team members safe. That's really important. Okay, Kim and Kevin, moving right along. We've got quite an edition of the Buzz here today. There's something for everybody. We're going to wrap with this. We're going to talk about talent, right? The global supply chain talent market. All those, again, those incredible humans that make supply chain happen across the world every single day. And Kim, I'm going to pick back up on you because you and your team work with organizations looking for talent every day. You've got your finger on the pulse of the global supply chain talent market. What's a couple of key observations that you have in terms of what organizations are looking for right now?
Well, I think one of the key things is, Scott, the fact that, yes, we've got the operational roles, we've got the BD roles, we've got the commercial roles and everything in between. So we would recruit across about 50 or 60 different roles throughout the entire supply chain. But what we're finding is that not so much in the technical side, you've got to have the technical skills for whatever role you're going into, or some early stage so you can develop into that. But what we're finding now is there's so much more analysis by our clients, which are mainly tier one global companies, and they're looking for people who are genuinely, authentically agile and prepared to be very, very flexible in their career. And let's face it, the last couple of generations want that change. They want the diversity. They're very short-tempered when it comes to, or short fuse when it comes to getting stuck in a role that they may find it doesn't suit them 100%. So companies now are needing to provide a lot of options inside. And let's face it, with the shortage of talent everywhere, as much as automation is helping, need to find people who are prepared to be variable in terms of their expectations. But again, want to be rewarded for their efforts is the big thing in talent at the moment. Everybody wants to be rewarded.
Kim, I love that. I love your focus there on flexibility that organizations are really looking for. Because Kevin, we don't always get what we want. In fact, rarely do we get exactly what we want, right? And that's whether we're just starting, like Corbin, who's just going to be starting his professional journey soon, or you're mid-career, or if you've been at it and you have new opportunities after 25, 30 years. Being flexible, being malleable, being professionally patient, being able to hold those emotions in check, even when things aren't all playing out like we really want them to. And that, that's a big universal thought there. But Kevin, what'd you hear there from Kim?
Well, one of the things that kind of has surprised me, and you're talking about technical talent, technical expertise. I've been amazed at how important the skill of prompt engineering has become when you're interacting with artificial intelligence. And what that means is it highlights the importance of communications, which has always been critical in every job, especially if you're an executive or leading a team, or even if you're in a team and you're trying to communicate with your team members. So prompt engineering, I don't know if it's a technical skill, but you need to know how to interact with AI.
Yep.
So that you can communicate to humans.
Yeah. Well said, Kevin. And I saw something on social over the weekend. Could have been on a Facebook story or something like that. And the speaker was saying AI can build a deep new website in the span of seconds these days.
Yeah.
But yet so many folks are using it for really trivial matters. So Kevin, to your greater point there, it really is such an important time to invest in yourself and figure out how to truly optimize your ability to use modern technology, including AI. And I want to go back to something else, Kim, expectations, communicate, as Kevin mentioned, communicating those expectations. Kim, would you argue to really maximize that flexibility that we want in team members, that one of a short list of things that can really help is to communicate realistic expectations so that it limits the surprises that may help fuel non-flexibility? Your quick thoughts there, Kevin.
That friction.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just throw back to what Kevin was saying before about the communication is on the executive coaching part of our business, that practice that we do there is the main emphasis now for mid and very senior executives that we work with on the coaching side is the communication style and the empathy that's required to bring people along on the journey. The issue of storytelling, being able to, if it's a more mature manager, whether she or he can tell a story and use experience to say, hey, this is what can happen and that things can go wrong and mistakes are just fine. It's the same old story. You don't learn until you're doing a bad job, right? Until you're making mistakes. And the leadership factors that we're seeing now is one, being able to be empathetic enough to bring people along without getting them bashed up along the way. And secondly, be mature enough to be able to tell stories that people can see the vision of and follow you and believe in you. But you've got to be authentic to do that. And authenticity is the big issue for leadership for me.
Yeah, stories are so important. Stories are so important.
So Kevin, one last question for you before we wrap here today. I wish we had a couple more hours with you both. Really enjoyed it. You were talking about that top technical talent, right? Because that's how many organizations aren't looking for the top technical talent, right? I mean, every organization is, at least for a portion of their teams. Kevin, with someone with all of your technologist background, what is a tip you might have for a hiring manager that will help them hire more truly top technical talent? What would be your piece of advice there?
Sorry, I may sound like a broken record, but technical talent is useless if they can't communicate. So whenever you are hiring, identifying someone for your technical team, don't forget to understand how they communicate, if they can communicate, and if their communication style fits within your organization. That's critical.
I like it. I love the emphasis on the selection process, because whether it's technology or team members, how we select and how we make sure we do anything but mail it in is so important. Kim and Kevin, really have enjoyed the chat here today. Let's make sure folks know how to connect with both of you. And we've really had something for everybody here today. Kim, let's make sure folks, whether it's at events, whether it's Logistics Executive TV, whether it's a newsletter, whether they want to have a talent conversation with you, how can folks track you down, Kim Winter?
Just good old LinkedIn, Scott. So KIMWINT. Scott. I think we've got about, between our various platforms, we've got about 350,000 followers now. So we're just tipping on 350. So we want to get to 500 by Christmas. So
I love it. I love it. We're going to make that easier. So, folks, you can connect with Kim right there. We got the direct link to doing that. And by the way, T Squared, great to have you from the wonderful city of Baltimore. T Squared says tech talent needs to be able to speak the language of the business in which it resides. That is right. And don't we all need to be able to speak the language of the business? Great point there, T Squared. All right, Kevin, you're always on the go. One coast to coast, around the world, and then some. How can folks track you down, Kevin L. Jackson?
I'll have to second that LinkedIn. You can always find me on LinkedIn, X, and also Digital Transformers. Where I was just talking to Scott last week. We're going to have another one of those space logistics shows soon.
Oh, I like it.
So
hey, you had me at spa. You had me at spa. You don't have to finish the word. That's awesome. And we're dropping Kevin's LinkedIn right there. You can connect with him. And Tricia is also sharing. You can find and subscribe to Supply Chain wherever you get your podcasts using that link right there. You can also find With That Said and many other resources. But folks, I promise you, Kim and Kevin, two of our faves here. What a great, very holistic, wide-ranging discussion. Again, prayers for peace. That's right. Prayers for peace, cooler heads. Let's make the dialogue happen. That's the only way. That's the only way that we can reach consensus and hopefully tamp down the violence. But I want to
stay safe over there, Kim.
That's right, Kim. Safe travels.
This whole region's got a lot of love and a fantastic history, and it's I've got a lot of confidence with things coming down here. So
I do too.
Cool. Yeah.
A lot of practical confidence and optimism is what I'm filled with this Monday. But big thank Kim Winter, Managing Director at Logistics Executive Group. Kim, thanks for being here, my friend.
Shukran. No problems. And
Kevin L. Jackson, really appreciate you being here on the third Monday of each month. Safe travels to you both. Big thanks to Amanda and Tricia behind the scenes for making everything happen as always. And most importantly, big thanks to Nadeem and Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy, we got the replay for you. You missed the live one. Hey, we welcome your comments after today's show, but great to see you here. But T-Squared.
Love that live audience. Yes.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best, the smartest audience all the globe. But a big thanks that they're here with us. But here, you got homework, folks. Hope you enjoyed the show today. But take one thing you heard here today from Kim Winter or Kevin L. Jackson, share it with your team, put it into practice. And it's all about deeds, not words. Action, folks. Action. With all that said, on behalf of the entire Supply Chain team, Scott Luton, challenge you, do good, give forward, be the change that's needed. And we'll see you next time right back here on Supply Chain Now. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks, everyone.